All right, guys, it's been an eventful week. Um, we'll have a lot to get into. Taiki's half half dead, but
Yeah,
he's here as well.
I saw all the Memecoin rugs, and I've been dealing with a severe headache recently. So apologies if I'm less talkative.
We have a guest. We'll be learning about Bitcoin from someone. I think it's our first Bitcoin. I don't want to say maxi because he seems very open minded, but Bitcoin focused for sure. So Paul Sztorc is going to be with us. We'll talk meme coins, we'll talk markets, we'll talk Bitcoin, and a lot of interesting stuff. So let's hit the intro. Let's get going. Guys, episode 55. It's been quite a week. We have hopefully a continued recovery happening, but we'll kick off maybe with what happened Monday morning. It was a bloodbath across the entire macro space, not just our little land of crypto, but I saw some of the numbers in like Nikkei and some of the Asian indexes that they were just like having minus 14% days, which is pretty insane. Like that's a Solana shitcoin kind of daily volatility.
Yeah.
Hey, can you tell us what happened, Jordy? What's this yen trade everyone was talking about?
Yeah, so basically the Bank of Japan has been trying to get out of their insanely like negative rates that they've been doing all this yield curve control. And they raised to like I think 25 bips, which is not a lot, but it's enough to get some of this like free money that was literally just borrowing for free back into Japan. And a lot of it was in things like the Nasdaq. Lo and behold, Nasdaq collapses and suddenly like the yen goes up, and it was more than expected. It seems like it rattled them so much that they came out the next day and put out statements that we're going to slow down, don't worry, like we're not going to just keep raising like this. We're watching the markets. The Fed has not necessarily flinched. I think there's no emergency rate cut priced in right now, and they're still looking at maybe just doing 25 bips in September. So this is not like something that's immediately being fixed. There might be a continued rotation out, but it feels to me that that was like one excuse. The main thing is just that markets have been overvalued. We've seen a lot of the AI companies in the last few weeks before this even happened start to have questions asked once earnings came out. Okay, you're spending all this money to invest, but there's no actual revenue. So hopefully it's just a healthy correction. But I would say, unfortunately, crypto took a rather large hit, and a lot of our brethren had positions liquidated.
Yeah. Lots of people got hit pretty hard. So I'm curious, Jordy. We've been seeing rumors of, I guess, Jump just selling a bunch of ETH, like I guess unstaking their staked ETH, sending it to exchanges. What do you think is happening there? Of course, it's all speculation. We don't really know. But do you buy the rumor that they're getting probed by the CFTC and they're exiting the industry? Like, what's your take on that entire situation?
Yeah, so I'm very familiar with Jump as a broad company. I've been competing against them for my entire trading career. They're in the same markets all the time. And I know a lot of people that work there. So I understand how they operate, but it did take me by surprise that they suddenly sold off, all the ETH. I think that they had recovered from the wormhole hack. There's like all this like 300 million that started getting sold off, and I think has now been eradicated into the market. I wasn't sure why it was happening. I was suspecting that maybe it was related to some settlement with the investigation going on as to their UST Luna, repegging and all that. The more we find out, it doesn't look like they are necessarily like exiting crypto completely, it's a very lucrative trading business. So even if they get out of some of this, like, project, VC type of stuff, they're still going to be dominating the markets as they have been with their infrastructure advantage. So I can't imagine them switching that off. It definitely is a, 7-figure a day business for them. But for whatever reason, they decided this was the time to sell an enormous amount of ETH. We don't know what they did on Bitcoin side. There was a lot of weakness on Bitcoin before the macro mess started. And I have to say, like, I feel quite humbled because I did feel like after the Trump speech, I was expecting that was like such a momentous occasion. And at the time, equity markets were at all-time highs. This was before they even flinched. I thought we were going to have, a little bit of a breakout, and I couldn't like put my finger on it. It just felt like there was somebody selling for no reason related to macro. And this is the thing with trading. Like, you can get all the normal parameters, what's macro doing, what are stocks doing, what's the regulation doing? Like, everything looked positive. And somehow we were still hitting this resistance and selling off. And yeah, I mean, we were questioning last week on our show whether it was the government dumping on us. And it does feel like the external was selling, just chose that moment. Maybe it was Jump.
Who do we blame this for? Jump, safe to say.
There was a little video circulating with Kanab, who is no longer the president, but he was the ex-president. Maybe we can put a few seconds of this video up.
Terra Luna was an algorithmic stablecoin. We knew this thing didn't fucking work, but the young Asian kid had everyone fooled. Now, as the exclusive market makers for USDT, we controlled the peg. And look, I know you're not following what I'm saying anyway, right? That's okay. That doesn't matter. The real question was this: was all this legal? Absolutely fucking not. But we were making more money than we knew what to do with.
There you go.
It's pretty good.
Kudos to whoever put that together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's been turbulent. Obviously, we've had a little bit of recovery, so the collapse hasn't like eradicated everything. Bitcoin crossed back over 60 somehow after crossing below 50. So this has been a wild few days. We have Iggy Azalea, who is quite new to crypto, just now realizing how insane we are in the space. She says, "I don't think I ever expected crypto to be this insane. Literally one day it's to the moon, and then the next day it's all over. And you'll make up your minds." Yeah,
She's one of us.
she's learning. But yeah, I mean, I would say ETH has hit an all-time low of sentiment. We've been saying that for months, but I've never seen what I saw this week. Obviously, it underperformed Solana and Bitcoin, and we had Kane, one of the main builders in DeFi of synthetics, just say fuck it and just publicly kind of go after Vitalik for not supporting DeFi enough and maybe being a bit in the clouds. I don't know if we can find the tweet, but the good news is for all ETH heads like Justin, I don't know if he's still part of the club, but this tweet by Kane, where he says, "If the only thing propping up your chain for the last 5 years is DeFi, and the best you can muster is begrudgingly tolerate it, you're anti-DeFi." This actually marked the bottom of ETH. We've kind of rallied substantially since then.
Well, I don't know about substantially. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But
you want to bring up let's bring up CoinGecko and see where we are. I haven't checked.
Yeah, and for background for reviewers, I think Vitalik, he only supports Maker and Uniswap, and he doesn't really like anything else, which is kind of weird, right? But who knows? Maybe he's living in his own world.
Well, I've also mentioned this. I've heard him speak just like Kane, and he has this sort of perspective of I've already made it, and now that I've made it, and I don't actually think he thinks this, but he comes across as I've made it, and now that I've made it, let's just focus on making Ethereum a public good for all, and let's focus on charity work and not actually building use cases that the people are interested in.
Yeah. So yeah, just to quickly go here, I mean, Bitcoin only down 5% on the 7-day. Obviously, it was going down slowly before that, as we said, but ETH down 15. Solana also down like around 5. So ETH still the underperformer, even though it's made a little bit of a bounce back.
So much pain. So much pain.
Yeah, and some of the shitcoins. I mean, Tron is up. XRP
Tron
had some good settlement, and Ton got listed on Binance. So some things are doing all right. But yeah, let's find out a little bit like, why Bitcoin is so resilient. We have a guest that is deep in that land. So Paul Sztorc is here, CEO of LayerTwo Labs. Hello, Paul.
Hello. Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Can you tell us like what is LayerTwo Labs and what?
Well, I started this company because everyone in Bitcoin has just given up on the goal of making Bitcoin something that 8 billion people would use and that would change the world. And instead, people are settling for something very, very, very small, which is just something that there's only 21 million units of. And it's all, there's no reason for it because we can very, very easily obtain all these other things. It's just a stone's throw away. So that's why I started the company. And it's based around this idea of the side chain or the drive chain more precisely. And that allows you to send Bitcoin to other pieces of software and back. And those pieces of software, they have their own blockchain, they have their own block size limit, they have their own code, they have their own features. So you can we have like a clone of Zcash. We have, you get planetary scale immediately with side chains because you can just have as many as you like. And the issues of the full nodes costing a lot of money to run in the large block universe, that doesn't really apply in the sidechain world because you can just kill the sidechains off at any time and just restart them. So it's like kind of like a caching layer in a way for Bitcoin. It's kind of in many ways, it's like what people thought the Lightning Network would be, but people did not think about the Lightning Network very much.
I think for the first time in the last months, I feel like even the Lightning Network believers are kind of capitulating. Like it seems that's
taking a very long time. Yeah, but it's finally happening. It's happening very slowly. I mean, there was you could go 2 tab conferences ago, I think, which would be nearly 3 years ago, since these are like in late September, October. Matt Corallo gave a talk called "Lightning is Broken AF." And then there was a subtitle that was like, and maybe we could fix it or whatever. But that part, that half of the presentation was not as persuasive as the first half.
The first is broken
because Lightning is broken, and then everyone just kind of keeps going through the motions. Everyone just keeps going through the motions, and you just always have these people who are like, you have all these people who are just saying like, okay, they come to BitDevs or something, and here's flood and loot. There's some attack. And then here's how to mitigate it. The whole thing is just a bunch of academic, nonsense.
How much like do you get the Bitcoin community these days? You go to the conference, you listen to like the Bitcoin. Yeah.
I thought you asked how much. I'm very in the Bitcoin community, and I go to all the conferences and I talk to all the people. So if you want to know where the bodies are buried, sorry.
Yeah, is sentiment like very high? Like at the moment with
what?
I would say
Bitcoin?
like the political acceptance and price doing relatively pretty okay.
Well, I think Bitcoin unfortunately has evolved a culture that is not the self-criticism has diminished enormously from where it was like back in 2011, 2012. It was very strong, but now everyone's just supposed to get on board and engineer the Trump bump or this other stupid crap that people talk about. So I do think that everyone, you're not supposed to like criticize Lightning too much because that's stabbing Bitcoin in the back. If you say something like Lightning is going to fuck up Bitcoin, these people are vampirically leeching the life out of Bitcoin. And if we want Bitcoin to succeed, we have to get rid of this idea. If you say something like that, you won't be as popular as if you're just like some Jack Mahlers and you just go up on stage and you just say every CVS will have Lightning in 8 months, which he said like 3 years ago or something to that effect.
Justin, do you feel like
no one cares? That's the thing, is just no one cares.
Yeah.
Macro does the talk, Bitcoin is broken, and just no one cares. So the whole thing is unfortunately like just this weird cultural disaster, I think.
I feel like it could be worse in Ethereum because there's this concept of Ethereum alignment, and projects and chains are either, Ethereum aligned, and to what extent. It's like you get a report card from the Ethereum Foundation, and they say like, oh, you're not using the daily availability layer, you're using external DA, so you're only like a 6.3 out of 10. We're not gonna, and like there's this kind of politics, and it does feel like people are getting a little bit fed up with that part. Do you have any sense of this, Justin?
It does seem like that's sort of fading away. I think to an extent for like excluding the last 3 months when things have sort of changed. Before that, like the previous 3-4 years, you had this bankless premium, I think, and this is oversimplifying a little bit, but like if bankless enjoyed your project and talked about it, there's like a premium in crypto Twitter and just in the space in general of acceptance of this project being a net good. Now, I think with Ethereum sort of faltering, I think obviously it's a little depressing seeing ETH BTC, ETH USD, Sol ETH, ETH doing so poorly across all three dimensions. But I think now is a time where like you can be critical of ETH again, just like Paul, you're saying, like it's good to be critical of Bitcoin. So I think that tide is shifting as we go through this challenging period that I think Bitcoin really probably faced in 2022, 2021 to some extent, when everything was outperforming it and people were questioning the value of it. Now Bitcoin's having this renaissance of the values there. It makes sense, but we have that question again where if it makes sense with Ethereum. And so I think like to the extent that this could be good for Ethereum, with like people taking a step back and actually seeing like how can we make sure we're building the best chain possible for what we want to achieve.
Yeah, I mean, Paul was telling us backstage about this like sense of complacency, and we were telling him like Ethereum has definitely had that same thing. And I run like a trading firm, and there's where the algos just make money for months. You don't, there's just autopilot, and you get complacent. Things change, the market changes, and then you start asking all the questions like, "What's going wrong? What do we need to?" And it's healthy because you can make the changes. Let's bring up this comment here. There are some people asking about thoughts on Zcash, and what's so funny?
How is that relevant to? I mean, it's Zcash. Is that still relevant?
Well, I mean, Paul, you said like there's like a
mentioned Zcash privacy. Yeah. So like a sidechain is good if it has an actual feature that people like. So this is like the Gwart, I feel it's giving someone too much credit to say this is like the Gwart critique that we have to care about the user.
No, we love Gwart. We've had Gwart on.
This should be like not basic 101 thing that everyone takes for granted. But instead, this is the joke: is that he just keeps writing these tweets about there are no users, or I was gonna try to improve the software for my users, but then I remembered I don't have any users, or stuff like that type of joke.
So I mean,
the Zcash is like doesn't have they don't have users, but it's not because the feature is bad. The code actually is good, but they don't have users because of just network effect. They have huge dev tax. It's sinking the market price of the coin, so it's like low on coin market cap, so this stigmatizes the coin.
Yeah, I mean, Justin's laughing at me, but there's a reason why I bring up the Zcash as a kind of entree into this topic, which is, we often talk about monetary premium, and things like Zcash don't really have a, they're meant to be money, right? Like that's kind of their intention. Maybe it's privacy money, but it's meant to be a form of currency. And,
that's a sad chart when in a world where Bitcoin is like 1,000x over that time.
Right, but it's kind of I think you hit the nail on the head when you said network effect. And so my thoughts on Zcash are it doesn't have anywhere near the network effect. So how can it be successful even if the tech is a little bit preferential? You need to reach such a high level, and I've tweeted about this for years, that like the benchmark for monetary premium, so to call it, is so high that it's not just a matter of like, the tech is okay. You really need like, millions, hopefully, like you said, billions of people to participate, be distributed, have like a fairness factor where why are all the coins where they are? Okay, like there's a reason. If Zcash suddenly goes to the price of Bitcoin, and you have Barry Silbert back from the grave suddenly being our overlord because he because he owns all of it. That's not going to work out much.
Well, I want to stress something about the sidechain point of view. It's something of a paradox, because the sidechain point of view says, in one sense, we must copy all of the tech from everyone else. We want all the tech. So you have Bitcoin L1, but then you have Zcash L2, or you have Monero L2, or you have ETH L2, or you have Solana L2. We don't want anyone to be turned away. But the paradox is that you also don't care about the tech, because I believe in this world where there'll all be side chains in the future. Once that happens, everyone will have equal tech. So there's no point in like doing the R&D on the tech today, because you will never monetize it. You can't monopolize it. The only thing that is inimitable, the only thing that you cannot imitate is the network effect. And this is why Bitcoin, again, the whole thing is very nuanced, because everything kind of contains its opposite in a way. But it's like Bitcoin has this strong network effect, which gives it all this strength. But that also means that it can onboard all of these useless parasites, and it can just like kind of like be too slow to innovate. There's a Mark Andreessen from A16Z. He always said this. He has this huge disagreement with Peter Thiel about Peter Thiel's pro-monopoly, and Mark Andreessen is anti-monopoly. And I really think Mark is right, because he says the motto of every monopoly is we don't care because we don't have to. So you're in this strong position. Yeah. You just think, well, I don't need to innovate. I don't need to put wheels on the, on the luggage.
Yeah, I mean, now that you talk about the innovation, so, in my land of my other hat, like the VC hat, we're seeing a lot of Bitcoin L2s, obviously, as you know, in the last year. There's Botanix and BitLayer and all kinds of L2s built on Bitcoin. Are these, because L2s are different than sidechains, they're actually trying to, I guess,
well, my view is that sidechain is in the category of L2. This is an unfortunate thing where people really trip over the definitions of things. I think it's maybe not as important as people might think, the whole definition. I mean, let's just talk about the thing. We could talk about each individual idea or a concept. I don't know if that will help or not, but
yeah. I mean, we've had things that are, like Merlin, where it feels like it's more of like a TVL game and
TVL, yeah. Thing. So this is a new thing. Like, I had honestly never really. People did not use the TVL phrase like frequently. It wasn't big. Like I'd heard of it, but until very recently, right? Like, I don't know. Like this is like the new.
It's a DeFi thing. It started like in DeFi land,
It's more like an Ethereum people thing.
So maybe it's a Bitcoin experience, because like in Bitcoin world, we just assume like all that ETH stuff will either just be copied into BTC or is like a scam. And of course, 99% of everything in the industry is a scam. Even
yes, to this 99% is a scam. But can I just ask a qualifying question?
Sure.
It is harder to develop applications on Bitcoin. We know that. Ethereum, and other chains, not just Ethereum now, have a flourishing ecosystem where it's easier to develop. Why will people, in your view, migrate all of this tech that they've spent building in an environment that's friendly to building, move that over to Bitcoin where it's really hard to do and Bitcoin's very behind?
The builders will not, and they will fight it tooth and nail, in fact. But this is a Marxist theory that we should do whatever the workers want. And it's like the consumer will prefer... The consumer will look at the same.
Why will the consumer prefer Bitcoin?
Because you have Bitcoin versus ETH, and Bitcoin will it has the network effect, and it has whatever Donald Trump and Michael Saylor, their savior. And if you buy Bitcoin, you get to suck Michael Saylor's dick or whatever. So that will be enough to just get everyone.
So it's a price thing then? Like if Ethereum,
the price is not a completely. Again, it's a difficult thing. It's all about what is inimitable. So there's only one person can be the number one slot. And then you roughly attract people in proportion to how big you already are. It's like gravity. So you have like a black hole. It's sucking in more planets. It's becoming stronger. And this is just network effect reality. Now, I want to stress that the network effect is not, it's not like a one-shot KO or something. It's not like the golden gun from, a GoldenEye 64. It's not like you get the network effect and then you just win.
Yeah, because you were telling us before that you do think there's going to be one winner, but you're not
Yes.
even 100% sure it's Bitcoin. Like if they get
I'm definitely not
complacent, something
100%
else.
sure. Yeah.
What?
I think it is
Let's
Bitcoin, but
let's do a little like thought experiment. What if it's not Bitcoin, and it
yes.
is something else? Is it going to be something? Is it going to be Ethereum, or is it going to be like something that hasn't existed?
I think
before?
it would be
Like,
something new that is like sort of calculated to appeal to not only the existing network effect people, but also just new users, because there's got to be a rotation when you have your investing hat. So you think, okay, I'll buy this for $10, but then the price will go to $100, and then the price will go to $1,000. There eventually will reach a point where the market price cannot increase anymore. And the only way to justify holding the coin is that it does become money for or has some kind of convenience yield, or it does something. The coin has to be doing something. So it has to eventually translate from basically equity into revenue, so to speak. I mean, this is speaking very loosely here, but the market price is sort of like the stock price. And then this is, again, kind of loose. So, but it's like the transaction fees paid in the block, that is kind of like the sales or the revenue or something. And
so when you see
you
like
have to
attempts
translate
to
that,
when you see attempts like Zcash, to make alternative, or Monero, or you could even say Luna, this type of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, like I mean, I have a similar mental construct as you in that I see them as they're like rockets trying to escape the atmosphere, and they go up, but like if they don't actually escape the gravitational pull, like they just come back down and crash. But maybe one day one of them will, if it's designed very, very well.
Right. I think the rocket is a great metaphor because there's so many, at least in the pre-Elon, the Elon revolution, praise Elon, but there was like many stages, and you would have to like do everything in the exact right order and like separate and do all this stuff. And you had to have like the life support working, so it's like very complicated project. And it also crucially depended on timing. Like you accelerate the rocket at the right speed and you will make it out. But if you go too fast or too slow, the friction, you will either burn up or you'll run out of fuel before you get far enough away, or the pressure will not be right and the chamber will explode. So you have to thread a needle through a very high dimensional space. I think that's exactly the same.
Can I ask a follow-up question, Paul?
Sure. But let me just say something about Zcash, which is, it's debatable whether or not Zcash, how committed they really are. A lot of people they want to work on their little tech baby, and they think, oh, I'll get someone to fund this. And then a lot of things in the space, many of these L2s, many of the altcoins, there's just people are not actually focused on building something that a lot of people use and enjoy. They actually are not. It's the tech people want to work on their own tech that they like. A lot of people are doing money laundering, and the altcoin is just a vehicle for that. Or it's not even in the case of Zcash. It could just be with Litecoin and stuff. People just want to move their coins around a lot, shuffle the coins around. They want to have a lot of different stuff. I do think a lot of people say, like, there used to be like Riccardo Spagni, creator of Monero, not quite the creator, but the lead spokesperson. He used to say, like, you should put $500 into every shitcoin. And this is partly what you should do if you think one of them will win and it will become this huge asset that is worth, if there were 21 million units, it would be, $20-30 million per coin.
Right.
But you don't know which one. Well, yeah, then you should be throwing $500 into.
What do you think about like all these like runes and?
But Justin had a thing that he was going to say first, right? We have to go in the right order.
Yeah, thank you, Paul, our new moderator.
Yeah.
You mentioned Peter Thiel, so I wanted to circle back to it. Peter Thiel has this theory, like, to supplant the existing competitor that has already a foothold in the market, you have to build something 10x better.
Yeah.
So like an example would be like Uber, 10x better than taxis, so everyone's going to switch to it. You talked before, and you were sort of just talking about now people migrating over to Bitcoin from Ethereum land or existing smart contract land. But I just don't see that happening, right? Like stablecoins on Bitcoin are not going to be 10x better. An AMM on Bitcoin's not going to be 10x better. Like where you
But
don't
I
have
actually
these
throw it
use
around.
cases that
I kind of throw it
people are
around
gonna
back at
move
you and
for.
say, I don't think the Ethereum. I don't think the Ethereum. And most of these, the early right now, it's still kind of early days actually, because it's not a function of time. It's a function of like users versus employees. So like if we were going to build something like an amusement park, we haven't let the normal people in. We're still like building the rides and testing them like on ourselves. It's like real mechanical engineers are riding the rides to make sure that they don't like explode or whatever the metaphor is. But we haven't let the lay people still don't understand what the point of this technology is. And we don't have a lot of normal users, if that makes sense. I'm trying to say like grandma or whatever, like layperson. And people still don't quite get it. Like they don't quite, although now I think people are getting closer. One of the things that's closer is like the Web3 login. And, but like transactions use case has been suppressed. The DeFi use case is very hard for people to understand because to a regular person, it really looks as though it's just a bunch of useless stuff that's all being rearranged. You know, it's like a casino where you it's either it is just a casino or it's a casino with chips that you can't cash out, or like people don't understand what the social function of this is. They don't agree that it's a bank like Bitcoin saying we're going to replace the banks with something better, but people don't agree with that yet.
I mean, whenever I listen to like Bitcoin podcasts and dive into that world, and I have dive in pretty deep, it does feel like, you know, there's been this ongoing purity test of, you know, nothing else matters. It's just the asset, and we're trying to replace fiat currency. That's it. Versus you seem more open-minded, Cap, and even Michael Saylor, you know, since he's so invested in miners and everything else, he's been happy with some of the, you know, recent renaissance of ordinals and runes, and you know,
Michael
some of the
Saylor
shit.
is truthfully happy with the ordinals. I think he did a quick calculation politically in his head, and he was like, "This has already happened. It has some people who really like it. It has some people who really hate it, but they're on the losing side." So I think that I don't think that he would get out of. I don't think he like got out of bed like 3 years ago and said, "Oh, you know what Bitcoin really needs is more tokens on BTC."
Right.
I don't think that that's how he thinks at all. But I want to just finish what I was saying to Justin, which is no one has opened the door. There's like Bitcoin theme park and Ethereum theme park, and no one has really opened the doors yet, in my opinion. It's still early. People have yet to actually deploy something that I think is a consumer-facing app with the exception of stuff like ordinals and runes and ERC20 and stuff like where people just like to just have meme coins. Meme coin is like the first ride. I actually think that the question is flipped around, where eventually the doors will be open for Bitcoin and for ETH, and ETH will it'll be something that has the same features as BTC, but it won't be number one on CoinMarketCap. And so that's why I think it's Ethereum that's not 10x better than BTC yet, although there's no limit to how complacent BTC can get and how badly we can screw everything up. We already have many address formats, and we already have now you cannot import a private key because the wallet is being deleted, and we now have descriptor wallets which are like made by the devil. So pretty soon it'll all just be ruined. Just another 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, just to keep on track. So we did mention, like, you know, some of the, like you said, shit coins and maybe are the first ride, but there's a lot of people in Bitcoin land that don't like this kind of stuff. They don't want the NFTs. They don't want any of this stuff. You seem to be okay that let people play, hop on a ride. It's fine.
Consumer sovereignty.
Is OP-Cat gonna be a good idea and kind of?
Well, the OP-Cat is a good idea, but there's many dimensions to this, which is why haven't we done many soft forks by now? We used to do 3 or so a year, or 2. We used to average 2 a year. It was not hit that way, but once we did 3 in a single go, in the end of 2015, we did check lock time verify, check sequence verify, and like something else. I don't remember the exact list, but anyone can look it up. I have tweeted about this list before, and you can just see many soft forks in the past. Then with SegWit, the political will to do the soft fork collapsed. So my view is that the reason why OP-Cat is now getting attention is because it's very short. It's only a few lines of code. whatever, 11, 14, 15, depending on how you count. And it's very small. It just concatenates two things and puts them back on the stack. So it's pretty simple.
Why is it not happened already?
Satoshi already had it in Bitcoin. So I think that what people are doing is people are slowly realizing that it's like you have, I'm not sure what great metaphor I can come up with, but it's like you have this, the patient is sick, the soft fork can cure any disease, but people are slowly realizing we actually can't, the medicine box that has the cure, the soft fork we can't get it open. And now people are just panicking and they think, well, OpCat, that is pretty simple. And Udi and Eric, they shrewdly calculated, they figured this out before. They said, okay, they understand the lay of the land, so they knew OpCat would be the one that people would focus on, because all this other stuff about CTV has been corrupted because Jeremy Rubin is the scapegoat. Jeremy Rubin did nothing wrong. Like all scapegoats, Jeremy Rubin did nothing wrong and in fact did everything right heroically.
I don't even know who Jerry. Do you guys
created
even know
CTV? Check template verify.
Is it Joseph Rubin's brother?
I think we're learning more and more about the multi-year drama of Bitcoin land.
Yes.
This mental levels deep.
Yeah, I've got all the Bitcoin lore that you want, and probably too much. So if it goes on and on, I mean, or if anyone has any specific question,
we do have some questions.
You asked about OpCat. I'm telling you, like, the OpCat part is not the relevant part. Yes, OpCat is a good idea. Yes, we can and should add it with a soft fork. I have a way, by the way, this thing CUSF. I have coded a way. If you go to BIP300QSIF.com, I have an OpCat QSIF in addition to BIP300. This is a core untouched soft fork. So this is a way of activating OpCat without even changing Bitcoin Core on GitHub or changing the binary of Bitcoin Core. You have a second.
Somebody in the chat is asking if you've gotten a quantum cat.
I don't have one yet, but I feel like my relationship with Eric and Udi is, I feel like I should be getting stuff from them. For free.
The floor price has been pretty steady. I feel like lots of diamond hands in the quantum.
But those guys are great, But what I wanted to bring up about this is, I don't think that they even care. I think what they understand, OpCat does a lot of things because there's already opcodes that undo other parts of what is basically a Merkle tree. So I'm glossing over some technical stuff here, but basically, if you want to have these trees of things that are very compressible because they're like Merkle tree, the OpCat is like the only missing ingredient. So it's not the OpCat part. It's like they want this other thing where they want to do these various roll-ups and things that they think they can do with OpCat.
ZK proofs. Yeah.
Right. And so I think like Udi and Eric, the Taproot Wizards people, the OpCat people, some of the meme people. I'm talking about the meme people. I'm not talking about the technologists. Yeah, the meme people, exactly. Yeah. They just they think that it's kind of like siblings, and they can tell one of the siblings really wants something, so then they kind of they play with that toy first, but they don't really want it. They're just like, "Dad, no, this is mine now. Now you have to ask me for it," or something like that. They're playing some kind of like funny little game with that, which is fine enough, but it just shows you this whole process is completely irrational and defective. What in a sane world, all the miners would know, or they would have some kind of council, or they would have some kind of thing where they just think in their head, will this make us more money? Will we get more transaction fees? Will we get a higher Bitcoin exchange rate? And then they would do it. And there would be nothing else would happen. But instead, all this other crazy nonsense happens because of block size war and other soft fork drama this is strangling.
Well,
Bitcoin,
Paul, let us give you a sense of, the crazy nonsense that can potentially happen on Bitcoin. We have a segment. We have a segment this week called "What's New in Memecoin Land," and you'll hear kind of like for a few minutes some of the crazy things just this week in Memecoin Land happening. So
a lot can happen in 1 week.
A lot can happen, and we each have a story about a different meme coin. So we have 3 meme coins we're going to get into. But everybody, please like and subscribe, and we'll dive in. Maybe Taiki, you wanna maybe start with like the Pacmoon drama?
Yeah, sure. I mean, maybe this is like the least controversial out of the 3, but Pacmoon was, obviously based off of Pac-Man, right? The founder of Blast. Pacmoon to the moon or something, whatever, right? That they were talking about. I think hit like $100 million market cap during the Blast farming season. And there's been a lot of drama between the Pacmoon founder and the Blast Foundation, because the Blast Foundation is not really supporting native coins within their ecosystem. So now Pacmoon has decided to leave Blast for Solana, I believe, which makes no sense. But I mean, I guess it drives more attention, right? Like, complaining about this on Twitter gets like thousands of impressions. So maybe it's good for the token price, because otherwise no one would care about it. So
it's pretty,
literally,
it's pretty rough for the chain if the literal like meme coin based off the founder of the chain just says like, screw it, we're leaving.
Yeah, like I don't really know like what their vision is. There's some utility. I think they're trying to be like this social-fi, right? Where Pacmoon is this, like tipping token where if you post something and people like it, then, you can send other people like Pacmoon and stuff. It did pump a lot, like around May, hit like $100 million market cap. Now it's maybe like close to 100. And now it's, it's in the depths of it looks like a Blast token chart, basically.
It kind of pumped when they said they're going to Solana, at least like a little bit. And it reminds me that things have changed since like a year ago this time. It was the exact opposite. I think Rollbit had changed their token from an SPL to ERC20 and started mooning because they kind of tapped into the liquidity. Now the liquidity's moved. So yeah, I mean, I saw Pac-Man himself put out a statement after this happened and saying, sorry, like we will be supporting. It just took a while, and these guys left before we were about to do it. So, I mean, as a founder, like it definitely makes you reflect and see. And I don't know how much a chain should support. Obviously, like Solana has been supporting their meme coins quite a bit.
I think a lot of it has to do is like just look at the Blast token price. The FDV is now about $1 billion. It's basically been down only mode. People thought this thing would be 5x higher from here, or even more than that. And I think like to some extent the Pacmoon meme coin founder, like the price is going down on Blast. Their meme coin's going to go down with it. And there's just this desire to do something and move chains. I don't know if like, it's sort of my theory that people are going to be upset no matter what you do if price goes down. And, I don't know how much this is the desire to go to Solana, even though there's more speculation there and just the relative underperformance of Blast. But I don't really blame Pac-Man for this, for not, providing the right incentives for builders and token launchers on the Blast chain.
Yeah. We'll see if I think it looks like they've rebranded to Army. So we'll see if they're successful.
Okay,
I like picking the right name. It doesn't matter what it does, It's like
it's fight.
Oh, this is what you're building for on Bitcoin.
Yeah. I do think that this type of thing should be allowed, even though it should not really be like emphasized or encouraged. Yeah, it's celebrated, right? It's it is the whole securitization process, like the idea that you have an entrepreneur with a good idea who's poor, and then you have some rich people down the street who get money under the mattress doing nothing. And the question is, should the poor person work as a janitor for 20 years, save up a lot of money, and then launch their idea for a new engine or something? That's a horrible way to run society. There's a shortage. We definitely, I new ideas is that is in short supply. And so the idea that you'd go to the rich people and you'd say, I'll give you shares in this corporation. I'll pay you back after the engine makes a lot of money. I'll pay you back. Give me the cash now that's doing nothing. They get a return. The entrepreneur who's poor quits their stupid job that is poorly allocated, where their labor is inefficient. So this is like why we would want people
Paul,
to be able
I don't
to
understand.
issue. I'm going to say this is like issuing coins, is issuing stocks, collectibles, having like being able to control who's in a club. You start a club with your friends. You say, whatever, baseball club or whatever and to be able to bet on things. All this stuff that's very healthy. But the idea of just creating something and just saying, this is a Pac-Man coin. This is all because we don't have good banking, I think. Actually, none of this would happen if the Bitcoin network worked for banking, if it had already taken over. no one would want to do this, I think, or it would just be like
There will be no.
So it's Bitcoin's fault.
Banking.
No way.
Of course,
Bitcoin
people are
work.
going to want to gamble.
Although there is
That's
like
crazy.
recreational gambling is, of course, things that's something that people do anyway. But I think that there's nothing wrong with like people should be allowed to do this. But we want to live in a world where
Bitcoin fixes this.
there's so many other ways of just taking a gamble on something. Like, what if someone said 3 entrepreneurs are starting a new spaceship company or something, and you kind of research them all and you think, I don't know, and then you and your friends, you kind of like have fun and you say, I'll mostly invest in A, you mostly invest in B, you mostly invest in C. Well, now you're still getting all of the fun of recreational gambling, but you're actually funding a real thing.
Paul, like Zoomers don't have that attention span. They want to bet on hamster race. Which hamster is going to go quicker. They don't want to wait for 10 years.
I think you may be right about that. I think the Zoomers may actually be. It's a cliche to put down a certain generation, but I do think it's hard to survive without an attention span. I think it's hard to make a lot of money also, or like do anything important and anything worth doing in life. Like, could these people even play like SimCity? I wonder about like if they would even be able to play that game, like something that people born in like the 80s thought was really fun to like run the city and run the traffic and run the taxes. Yeah, I don't know if Gen Z would like just kill themselves like after 10 minutes of that.
I think they would, and I think you'll agree after these two more meme coins. Justin, do you wanna take?
I'll go. Yeah. So I took my first real big hit of the 2024 year on the Trump guys, the Trump boys. So Donald Trump Jr. and the other brother. For the past week or so, starting on like October 6th, 7th, they have been hyping up this idea that the Trumps were going to launch a project in the crypto space, which it sounds like they're still standing by and they're still going to do. There was speculation on around the 7th, this was going to be like a real world assets real estate company. People were looking into the trademarks, the filings. Everyone was getting excited. Fast forward to this all happened yesterday. Things are moving very quickly. A new token was deployed on Solana called RTR. Restore the Republic. And in sort of all of the established group chats on Telegram, a lot of established and like well-known people on crypto Twitter were coming out and saying, this is the official Trump meme coin. Donald Trump Jr. is going to make a tweet any second now saying RTR is the official Trump meme coin. And everyone was bought in. I got caught up in the hype myself and got burnt by this. So I heard about this early. I was in a group chat. I thought I was early. I heard about RTR at about 5 cents. And at 5 cents, I see like credible people saying this is the official Trump coin. So I bought in. And for like 2 hours, I got the whole Solana thesis. I was euphoric. This thing went from 5 cents to 15 cents. I was counting all my chips before they were cashed in. Everything's going great. And then suddenly it turns out that this is not an official Trump coin. So Donald Trump Jr. tweeted out saying, this is not the official project. We love what you guys are doing, but this ain't it. It turns out that there's like pretty good evidence that the Trumps were actually involved in like talking to the Kanpai Pandas founder from the Solana ecosystem to launch this meme coin and rugged the people building this, the Kanpai Panda guy. And Donald Trump Jr. then came, he did like this, I'm not going to play it here, but he did this live podcast where he talks about how RTR isn't the real token and they have a real project. But like right before Trump Jr. announced that RTR was a fake coin, there was like a lot of insider dumping. And so there's a lot of speculation that the Trumps are dumping on crypto people, launching now the second scam Trump coin. Yeah. I got burned by this. It's a little unfortunate. I think all of the crypto people for Trump are going crypto for Kamala now after we've been burnt by Donald too many times. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think what happened, to add more color, is this was supposedly the real one, but I think Ice Bags like told all his friends about it, and then his friends told other friends about it, and there was like this cabal that formed, and they were all like, okay, like let's just like buy this up. And then they started shilling it on Twitter. And then the Trump people were like, wait, like this is not good, right? Like this is not fair. This is insider trading. So they just like,
yeah, they were supposed to do that. They were supposed to do the insider trading.
Yeah, it's like
allegedly they were locked up for 6 months. They were doing this right. There was proper vesting. This
There's
thing
no
went
such thing
from
as
0 to
locking up
150.
investing because you just sign a forward contract or a futures contract. You
Yeah,
just say,
yeah,
listen,
yeah.
I will get this in 6 months. What will you give me for it today? And then
Of
return it.
course.
There's really no such thing, I suppose. I mean, maybe a little bit, but I do think that you invite this situation in when you say that you will buy something that is just because it's endorsed by a celebrity. The celebrity has the full power to either make or break. They say, well, that's not the real one. So they could do this 100 times in a row. You know what I mean? They could say, I'm doing something big. Only they know that number 97 is the real one, or that number 5 is the real one. So they could do it. They don't have to do it across time. You know what I mean? They just launch. They say they create 100 rumors. They say, I will launch Paul coin. I'm sure no one has done that. Launch Paul coin, but there's like 12 different Paul coins, and then I say this is but you pump and dump first, and then you tell people which one it is. So you're inviting this situation where it's something that the person can make or break the coin. That they're the only one who can make money in this.
No one is to blame but you, Justin. That's the bottom line here. Like,
Well, listen,
you
Jordy, you in the pre-show you shared this Bold Leonidas image of the two Trumps cackling together. So then I bought a bunch of the supply and bailed 5 minutes before the launch. I did the same thing with Shkreli. Listen, I'm not to blame for this. I'm the victim, okay?
It definitely happened twice. And, there was a lot of anger against, the Kampai Pandas guy, and even, Size Chat and anybody else who tweeted against this. And it kind of is a bad look, because even if it was the real one, there's still, caballing to kind of like push it. So either way, it's just like there's not a good look. Although, I have to say it's all gray areas. It's not black and white. What's the difference between them caballing a coin and Pepe getting cabaled, and then everyone's happy because it does go up a lot. I think in this case, people are angry that there were wallets that sniped and then dumped and made like millions of dollars, and it's unclear who those are. And somebody out there has done well, and that's, I think, what makes people angry. And we'll see how that plays out. But given what happened,
but if you're not willing to be angry, then why are you happy when you make money on meme coins? Because it's the same thing. Just
I will never be happy. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, we hold ETH, so we're never happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, here for the roller coaster.
Wait until Bitcoin releases its 84th address format. With no real innovation. Then ETH will look really good.
Yeah. So I have like one more meme coin to talk about, which is unfortunately the Doge OG passed away.
Kabosu, yeah.
Kabosu is dead. The family got a new coin, and apparently this is like how the human ingenuity is being used these days, Paul. This is where all the great minds of our time are being used.
Yeah.
They made scripts to try to make a meme coin as soon as the name was announced. So they're waiting for the family to announce the name of the new Shiba Inu dog, and as soon as it came out,
this is like the FOMC. You're aware of this with the Fed. People do this where the Fed puts out whether the rate cut, and people have like advanced.
Jordy does this.
That's my life.
Yeah.
I did the whole PDF.
So this is you probably doing the script.
This is me.
It's Jordy.
He's trying to tell guys, Jordy is dumping on you guys 5 minutes before the next episode.
Yo. Holy shit.
I mean,
wait.
Oh my gosh. Those effects. Wow.
Yeah.
Put
the production value.
Soundboard.
The dog was right over your head, Paul. I digress. So bottom line, a ton of scripts got the name Neiro, Neiro. They made shitcoins, and obviously Solana right now, you have like pump.funds, all this so easy. So 2 Solana meme coins started around the same time. The first one apparently, was going up and went up to like 9 figures. And apparently Ansem, who is, the Michael Saylor of Solana, let's call him, because his opinion kind of moves the mountains there. he got on a Twitter Spaces and said, "Guys, no, it's not that one. I like the other one, even though everything's the same. It's the same name." Maybe you can bring up the deck screener here, Justin, and we can look. So I think this one was which one's which? This looks like the one that. Well, it's a 9 million.
We gotta do like they do like when people are walking down the street and they're like Americans and like, where is Iraq? And then they have the different map where Iraq is like over Australia, and people like, oh, and they put like a pin in. You should have for these charts, like which one is the real one? Oh, which? And then everyone's just like, what? And they have
you know, the funny thing is, like, they've both ended up being around 10 million FTV now. So here's another one that's
doesn't make any difference. All's well that ends well, you know.
Yeah, this seems to be another one about the same price.
All the people launching these projects and promoting them also lost track, so it's just like a random crapshoot now. Just they have to be the same. They have to be the same in every way, the same price, because they're just the same.
Well,
they're fungible. It's fungible dog meme coin.
Not exactly, because even like the ticker, you know, there's Paul.
Is there? Do you know which ticker is which?
Well, that's my point. That's my point.
That's my point.
There's a ticker called Bitcoin, right? There's a Bitcoin, and
yeah, but people know how to tell that one. They know how to tell that one from the real Bitcoin
because
they could run. They could run a Bitcoin full node. I mean, I don't know. If they could
they're not doing that.
But other than that, they could, like, just people like Coinbase or whatever. People at Coinbase will get fired if they give people the wrong Bitcoin, you know. But no one's going to get fired if they give them coin, because no one knows the difference. No one will even know. It's a victimless crime.
Like, wasn't there like the real Neiro on ETH or something?
Yeah. So this is
Neiro on ETH.
So Neiro on ETH has ended up beating both of them, and maybe let's bring up that chart, because that one has actually gone up to 220 million. Here we go. So this one is winning. Apparently,
look at how green that chart is. Green, that means good.
That's good. Yeah.
You don't want red.
You approve of this, Paul?
I like green.
You like green?
So
I love the name is Neiro on ETH. It's like the only way to distinguish
the number of decimal places.
So I did inquire, and I was a bit perplexed because Solana is getting most of the meme coin hype. And I asked around. I said, why is Neiro on ETH the one that's actually at 200 million? Everything is like dust. And apparently it's because Shiba Inu is Ethereum based, and the culture for Shiba is more like Ethereum aligned. So screw these Solana guys trying to like steal our meme. The Ethereum version is going to be the one that has to win. And, I guess that's working for now. So
dude, I love
keep an eye on it.
Jealous, like trying to make someone jealous. You flirt with the other girl or whatever.
Someone said this was a top signal in the comment. It's so true. I went to Solana and I missed Neiro coin. I bought this fake Trump Ponzi scam coin and I missed the canonical Neiro coin on Ethereum. That's terrible.
Yeah, they're distracting you, right? They're distracting you from the real prize.
Yeah.
There's so much attention in any given day. Scarce resource.
So, Paul, this is what you have to look forward to if L2s and sidechains come to Bitcoin land. You'll get a Sailor coin, Sailor Moon. You'll get Sailor Moon for sure. That will 100% be like the main coin.
Yeah, there'll be like a chair coin or something.
Chair coin,
just one single chair.
Let's
limited supply to just one.
Yeah.
Very illiquid. Liquidity is very low because
let's maybe get some like last questions in for
all the chairs. Okay, yeah, let's go.
We'll get some last questions in for you, Paul, before we go to pasta of the week. I'll start with one. One of the reasons we wanted to have you on was prediction markets, and we talked last episode about
the most important technology and most neglected technology of our time. It will make the printing press look like Cartoon Network. When our descendants among the galaxies look back on this era, it will just be like, when was writing invented? When was fire invented? When was the printing press invented? When was the computer invented? When were prediction markets invented? This is my opinion. That may be
you are the most bullish.
Play this clip and put like a little slide rule.
There is no one as bullish as Paul in the entire universe on prediction markets. The printing press has nothing on prediction market. Let's maybe let's maybe understand why. So is your thesis that aligning incentives brings in the collective knowledge of society, and that collective knowledge makes us make better decisions?
Yes.
Or what is it?
We definitely need to combine our knowledge. But the issue is how. I mean, it's easier said than done. Oh, we'll get everyone in a big room and then we'll all talk to each other. Wait a minute, that doesn't work at all because it's n squared. Only so many people can talk at once. And in fact, people self-censor what they say based on what they think is acceptable. So even once a committee reaches like 12 people, it becomes useless. Even if Elon Musk is on the committee, the only way it works is if one person just says, the other 11 people just shut the fuck up and go home, and I will do this project. That's the only way the committee will work, if you decommittee it. No art was ever made. Nothing ever good ever came out of a committee ever. So, but having one guy YOLO it, that's also terrible. The ideal thing would be if you can combine all of society's knowledge. So you say aligned incentives, but that's the trick, you know? It's like saying, oh, the trick to getting to outer space is to just fly a rocket up there. But it's like, okay, like there's like a million things in your way, a million little decisions you have to make. So this is the trick. The prediction market does this. And one of the reasons why it's so great is that people don't understand the extent to which all of us are self-deluded and to which we have been corrupted by, there are these parasites. They don't know that they're parasites. I don't mean anything bad, but like when the reason why Bill O'Reilly had a show, I mean, I'm trying to guess how old all of you are and where you're from, or to pick like a good metaphor, but Bill O'Reilly was not like the most insightful person, but he had this kind of the audience trusted him because he had a certain personality and a background, and so that was actually good, because having some champions of the media, Walter Cronkite, whatever, this had like a log n scaling basically, where America has 300 million people. You have log of that, very small, a few trusted people, and then people would just say, I'm not going to watch that show anymore if I catch that person in a lie. Now that was okay, but this is still not good enough, because as we know, with every host, including Bill O'Reilly, they have like their own human bias, they have their own frailties, and the audience, they're captured by the audience also. We need something where everyone is rooting out error constantly, and that is what the prediction market does, because if there's any error defined as a difference between the current market price and the objective likelihood, the objective reality, someone has an incentive to buy the cheaper, sell the more expensive, and bring them back into alignment. And it's a tireless thing where every bias will be rooted out eventually. And
do you expect that, like, do you expect that society will make like important decisions based on the prediction markets though?
Yes, but it won't be like, it'll be like the printing press, where at first everyone will just be like, what the hell is this going on? And like, they'll just have no idea what it's doing. And like the printing press, at first people just used it in the old context. So as you probably know, the only people who could read or write were members of the clergy or other various monks of various kinds, extreme cultural. So like, these are people copying the Bible by hand. And so of course, when the printing press came out, it was, I don't want to say it was pitched to the world, but I'm just trying to translate it to like a more modern phraseology, if you will, where it's like, okay, this is now an easier way to make Bibles, and we can give more Bibles to people. Of course, in a way, this was the last thing that many people wanted, because the way of doing the way of controlling society included that the priests were the only ones who could interpret the religious scripture and stuff. And as soon as the Lutherans, as soon as some people prioritized everyone being able to read, and everyone being able to read the Bible in particular, as soon as they prioritized that, it led to like a complete revolt against the aristocrats and the king, and those countries became more of what we might call like a liberal democracy today. But this is an enormous upheaval, just copying the Bible. Little did people know that what was coming down was the ability to publish pamphlets and on any. So at first, the prediction market will just be
just in the interest of time, like, where are we now? Like, is Polymarket? Do you like
We're like
that
one
specific
point zero 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 percent of the way in. We are not even. We don't even have the first real prediction market that would meet like my standards. Although we have had, I would say, really InTrade started it. The idea of the custodial foreign US dollar prediction market. InTrade was this company in Ireland. Because of weird U.S. gambling laws, and they started this up, and it has slowly accumulated steam. They're having, maybe I would say, they have a market scoring rule blockchain. Ethereum would be like level 2, so but we have to get to like level 50 basically. So we're very far from what I think we are. And in particular, what will happen eventually is the public will realize that this is the most reliable way of doing things. It'd be kind of like gap accounting, where if you're the first person to do gap accounting, it makes it seem like you're a weirdo. You say, oh, this way. I don't trust my auditors. I don't trust my company. I don't trust anyone, any of my employees. I don't trust the investors. Don't trust. So you'd say, why are they doing that? But after everyone starts to do it, then now you look weird if you're not doing it. So we will then reach a flipping.
It's good to get that understanding, and also the fact that we're not anywhere near we're at 1.0.
But I have the site BitcoinHivemind.com. You can read all about my prediction market thoughts if you care about that.
Yeah, BitcoinHivemind.com. Please check it out, guys. We'll head out to pasta of the week. I know we're running short on time.
Whoa.
I thought we had the better graphic with like the full like all the Pepes and stuff. There we go. This is the one that we need.
Wow.
Thank you.
I love that. That's great.
All right. So Taiki, let's kick off with pasta.
Yeah, so as a sizable ETH holder, this pasta really resonated with me. Justin, if you can pull it up. Wait, no, it's not this one. It's not this one.
Oh, this is funny though. I like this one.
I mean, it's true, right? This is bullish our bags. Hashtag copium. Wait, you don't here. Let me share mine.
I got it.
Okay. There you go. Yeah, bad news, ETH down. Good news, ETH down. No news, ETH down. FUD, ETH down. No FUD, ETH down. Market's good, ETH down. Not good, ETH down. ETH goes down a lot, ETH down. ETH kind of goes up, and then ETH goes down. This has been the story of an ETH holder's journey for like the past 5 months. They keep getting us. There's so much hopium on the timeline. It's like, oh, it's the ETF, has to be bullish. No, like I feel like everyone kind of expected the ETF to give us like the final exit pump, and now everyone's trapped because we're all underwater on our lungs. It's sad.
Yeah,
it's too real to be funny though.
It's too real.
Funny.
I'm sorry.
Chat is going to be more sad about this. Justin, any good one?
It's also sad, but it's close to home. So I'll give some background on this one. So working on a project, we build on-chain applications, right? And there's always this question of where you're going to launch it. And you sort of have to play this like mental game of like trying to figure out which is going to be the hype chain of the next few months. Is Solana going to be there? Is it going to be Base? Is it going to be Optimism? Maybe if a Bitcoin layer 2 ever gets off the ground, like maybe a Bitcoin layer 2 could do that. But like 3 or 4 months ago, before the summer started, we're having a little powwow with our whole team. Like, where should we go? And I raised my hand and I say, guys, didn't you hear? Base is doing another on-chain summer. We've got to be on Base. Like this summer is going to be lit. And
people still say lit? I thought they changed it to something.
Well, I'm over 30 now, Paul, so I'm pretty outdated when it comes to like the right terminology and stuff. I'm a boomer.
You need to consult a younger cousin or a niece or something. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Get the new password.
But Gwert put this meme out. How about you come down here and tell us about your little on-chain summer? And this is sort of what I felt like over the past few months. Like on-chain summer, what even is that? I know Base has been activating like a coffee shop where you pay with USDC everywhere, but in a few places. But there's really been nothing that's substantial that has come out of this thing. So that's my story.
That's also very sad. I resonate with this.
Solid sad. It's a sad pasta week. Paul, we decided as a guest you get 2 pastas. So you got a bunch of
I didn't know they said find a funny tweet. Okay, can we do the second one? The space one?
The space one. Yeah. Space one first. You got it.
First one's a little heavy, even though it's also funny. So this is hilarious tweet. I mean, I know it's not crypto related, but the people, Boeing trapped these astronauts in space for like 9 months. They're stuck up there, and Elon can't even fly up his own thing and get them down because like they would have to like lose this. There's no software. I mean, it is software related. So basically, they can't rescue the humans because they need the humans to fly this Boeing part back to Earth. The humans have to fly it back to Earth. So they were supposed to be up there for like whatever, like a couple of days or something. Now they're going to be up there until like February 2025 or something like that, all because of Boeing and because of software. So I thought this was pretty funny. That's just how it goes sometimes. You're just stuck in a space just because of Boeing. You're just stuck in space with someone else.
Like, these are all sad pastas. This is like these people are trapped up there.
Well, I mean, the other one I had was really sad. So can we do that? We do that one also.
All right, this is the other one.
I think this is the most accurate description of communism ever established. Establish a new communist utopia, rob or kill the successful. And then a lot of people don't emphasize this third step. Everyone always says they kill all the successful people so there won't be any great companies. But then they forget this third step, force everyone to work for free. The rest, like the poor people, they have to farm, but they don't get to keep what they farm. It just all goes to someone else. And then maybe they give you food back. Then
Heike knows about that. He knows all about like the farmers getting farmed. He knows about that.
Yeah, and also I feel like this tweet also, or this this screenshot also encapsulates like the Neiro and like the Trump coin, like meme coin rugs. It's just like, oh, that's not the real meme coin, and they just keep doing this entire thing.
It's not real. So then
how do they keep getting away with this?
They usually remember that at some point you run out of food and then starve to death. And then everyone remembers the last second to last that it wasn't real communism. People remember that. But I just thought this is a great description because everyone always forgets that they force everyone to work for free. Everyone always forgets that step. And then they just think like there's no Elon Musk, so we run out of food. And it's like, no, it's because there's no anything. And then everyone dies. So I thought,
everyone dies.
What an accurate tweet. And I just thought, there you go. I got a laugh out of that one. We don't want any communism around here. That's not good.
No communism. No communism, please. All right. Well, talk about communism. I'm going to end up with ETH as well. Another sad ETH tweet. Just to round it out. So Eric Wall, as we've spoken to with his little cat there, says, "This is my culture. This is my culture." Let's listen to the culture here.
Great start.
Thank you so much, Vitalik Buterin. When you're talking, I saw everyone's eyes is sparkling and then fully focused without natural timing of blinking. So I can tell how much they all looking forward to this precious moment. Let's give up. Oh, I'm too excited and more once more. So let's give a big applause. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
This is, these poor people, their English is not their first language, and so they're trying. What if we had to speak Chinese?
I mean, it's the sentiment.
We don't try.
The sentiment is, it's not English. It's like, she's like,
I know. She's like, I'm so overwhelmed. Just this presentation is going to be the greatest thing ever made.
I love his like body stance. He was like, I don't know, like his body posture, his body language is so uncanny. I've never seen anyone like it.
He's like a guy that weird philosopher who's like always like moving around, You know what I'm talking about? What is his name? Like Zizak or something? This is
must be a Bitcoin lore thing.
No, he has like a very interesting way of talking, and he's always like flinching and like. I guess I don't know who it is, so I shouldn't have brought it up. Apologies to that person whose work I have read, but I don't remember his name.
The live poll is up, so we'll get some votes. We'll take a couple minutes, but speaking of Vitalik, it does feel like it's hopefully a time for some reflection about like the role of the founders on these chains. Maybe it is good that
yeah.
they take a life of its own. Even on Solana, we saw that Anatoly he quote tweeted the RTR Memecoin thing himself, and he put an American flag before it rugged, and I think maybe he deleted his tweet. So founders are not infallible. Even blockchain founders are not.
Yeah, but
infallible.
So is Vitalik supposed to be like handcuffed to Ethereum for the rest of his life? Like, is that
Yes.
the premise? Yeah. Until
he goes to 10K.
Hyper-Bitcoinization.
If it goes to 10K, it's okay. He can leave.
Yeah, but I remember when people used to say, "Wow, if Bitcoin went to 1,000, can you imagine if Bitcoin went to $1,000?" And everyone said that was the moon. $1,000 per coin was the moon. So we go to the moon, and people thought, "Can you imagine?" And I knew people who said that when it went to $2 a coin, they said, or even when it was $1, they said, "Wow, one Bitcoin is worth more than $1. That proves that Bitcoin is better than the dollar." I remember when that happened on like Bitcoin Talk. So there will always be these people who say, "Oh, we want more. We want it to be 100,000." So
the only thing bearish right now about that is, the founder of Bitcoin can't do anything wrong at this point. He's kind of disappeared, but they're finding faults with everything that Vitalik is doing. Apparently, the poor guy, he got a girlfriend, I think is what it looks like. We'll look at this this tweet, but it does look like a girlfriend boyfriend type of situation going on. And the Twitter sphere started dumping all their ETH because
he's not going to be as autistically focused on the mission. This is the issue with centralization, though, is that people will try to harass Vitalik or whatever, assassinate him or something, which I don't, we don't encourage. But
those matching hats, man.
That doesn't necessarily look like that. Could women when they take the selfie, they often lean in, or they pull some kind of
But he's not even looking at the camera, like for her camera.
That's how Justin. Remember when Justin was with Suzu in the nightclub and they took a picture? That's how Justin was leaning. Got the line.
No. It was very slight.
Many times, this is like a humble brag, but like people come up to me at a conference and they're like, "Oh, can we take a picture?" And you're like, "What the fuck am I going to say no? I can't say no." They could just like stand near me and just take it, and then I'm going to look like an idiot. So, yeah, you always just kind of smile and say, "Sure." And then what are you going to do? Are you going to do the hover hand? People don't like that. People complain no matter what you do. So then
we have an amazing comment, by the way. Somebody says the reason Jump was dumping is because they front ran the girlfriend news. They had a high frequency feed for the girlfriend news and started dumping.
That's smart, actually. It's very smart. That's why they're the best.
We have the poll results.
You got to you put in your short. You say, "I'm going to short ETH," and then you hire some women. You say, "Listen, I need you to
take photos with them.
I need you to be Vitalik's girlfriend, and we'll make $100 million."
I hope Satoshi comes back. I'd love to see what he's.
That could work, actually. No, that could actually work. Like every day, just different girl posts.
Paul, you should have said more. You should have said more of these ideas. These are amazing. This is like $100 million idea right there.
Yeah, someone's gonna do this. Someone's gonna do this for sure.
All right, so we have the poll results.
Great. Oh,
I think
nice.
I think the
only 10% of listeners voted. First of all, that's a huge problem. We got to get those numbers up.
That video was captivating. I was on the edge of my seat. I was on the edge of my seat.
Were you blinking? Were you blinking naturally in the?
Well, I didn't know what was going to happen. I was like, how? I mean, I feel like that could have gone on and on and on too. Like maybe it just starts and it's just awkward thing about like 12-dimensional hypercubes or whatever, and you're just like so awkward, and everyone's just like pretending. Cuts to the audience. The audience is like pretending to pay attention.
Vitalik's face encapsulated the WTF of that moment. So
he's got that like really dramatic hairline now.
The hairline.
His hairline, yes. I remember young Vitalik. Now
he's in wartime Vitalik. He's got to shave his head and really get rid of his girlfriend and commit to building.
Yeah,
that would be bullish. That would be so bullish. Like
then Ethereum hits 10K and he gets like the hair surgery or something, or whatever. I don't know. Like
goes to Turkey.
Oh man!
Or he goes like full Joe Rogan and he's just like MMA fighter. podcaster.
Oh my
That'd be
God,
great.
the comments are brutal. All right, Paul. Well, thank you so much for thanks for hopping on.
Wait,
right,
can we pull up the comment by NG?
I don't see a comment from NG. Actually,
I don't
It's
see
not
any
on my
comments
feed,
other
yeah.
than unless they're pulled up. What does the comment say?
All right, guys. You know,
We'll never know.
Yo, you gotta
Oh,
pull
yeah.
it up now, Justin. You gotta pull it up.
you,
Okay.
you know,
Oh,
That's
There's a
dirty,
road
guys.
rule.
It's
That's
fine.
dirty.
No,
That's
we
dirty.
don't comment
that's
about
you
other
know,
men's
if that's
hairline.
not, yeah, that's mean.
Yeah, that's
Ah,
me.
man.
That's
All
mean.
right.
Yeah, you're asking for trouble. Then it will happen to
Asking
you.
for
It'll happen to you. That's how it happens.
Oh man. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining. the
Invent
live
that
show.
hair cloning, DNA hair cloning. They're gonna invent that in like 5 years.
Okay.
Please like and subscribe. Thank you to Paul for hopping on this week and sharing everything going on in Bitcoin land. And we'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Peace.